Merry Meet, and welcome to the first of this tarot series on the Ghost Witch channel. I'm Will, the Ghost Witch, and we're here to talk about tarot cards. And what are tarot cards? Well, tarot cards are, like the name suggests, they're cards. And they're used for divination. They're used for helping us to see things that we're not seeing, see where we're going, and also to communicate with spiritual entities or divine forces. So, talking about the tarot, just a brief history, it does derive from regular playing cards. These decks are not used for playing games, they're used for asking questions. So, back in Italy, a long time ago, 1500s, some people started to use the tarot started to use cards as tarot cards, just regular playing cards. And the way that works is that numerologically, each number on the numbered cards corresponds to certain meanings, right? If you know anything about numerology, you'll understand that each number contains within it a certain quality. And so you pull from that. And on top of that, each suit is assigned a specific correspondence. Meaning you've got spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds, and each of those were given certain elements. Now in the tarot, the way that differs is, in addition to the numbered cards and court cards, 22 cards were added. Those are called the major arcana. Those are, if you've ever seen pictures of tarot cards, those are generally the ones that people will show you because they're striking, they are very powerful, very strong archetypes. And so you'll have 78 cards in a tarot deck. Now there are a lot of different tarot decks out there. Most common one that you're likely to find, the most common one that I see, is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So this was a deck that was created in the early 1900s, 1920s, 30s. And it's based around a lot of occult imagery and a lot of occult principles. Goes back to Hermeticism. Arthur E. Waite, who directed the artwork on the Rider-Waite Tarot, was an occultist, and he was in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. So you'll see a lot of imagery as we go through this that pulls from Hermetic principles. As above, so below, the principle of correspondence, principle of polarity. We're going to take a look at all that. But not to get too far ahead of ourselves, let's pick it apart. Let's take a look at the deck. So we're looking at the major arcana laid out here. So these are the 21 cards that I was mentioning, do not appear in a standard deck of playing cards. There are 22 cards here labeled 0, starting with the Fool, all the way up to 21 here at the World. And you'll notice that this 0 for the Fool is a lot like this wreath that's making a circle here at the World. And this is what's often called the Fool's Journey. Each of these cards is an archetype. Each of these is rich with meaning and symbolism. You'll see a lot of occult symbolism as we go through each of these individually. But these are the 21 cards that you get. The Fool, number 1, the Magician, number 2, the High Priestess, 3, the Empress, 4, the Emperor, 5, the Hierophant, or the Pope in European decks, 6, the Lovers, 7, the Chariot, 8, Strength, 9, the Hermit, 10, the Wheel of Fortune, 11, Justice, 12, the Hanged Man, 13, Death, 14, Temperance, 15, the Devil, 16, the Tower, 17, the Star, 18, the Moon, 19, the Sun, 20, Judgment, and 21, the World, the victorious completion of the hero's journey. Now, in addition to these cards, you also have the minor arcana. So let's take a look at them. So here we have swords. This is the first suit that I'm going to look at, or we're going to look at, in the Minor Arcana. So it starts with Ace and goes through 10. And then you also have your court cards. This is very much the same as you'll find in a deck of cards. Each of these suits has a corresponding element. I mentioned that before. Swords are air. Swords are your mind. It's your thoughts, right? Think of a sword cutting through the air. And also, these are all double-edged swords, you'll notice. And that's important because mind is powerful. We mentioned before, all is mind. Your mind cuts both ways. Your self-limiting beliefs can bring you down just as much as your positive affirmations can bring us up. So, taking a look at swords, we're reminded of the responsibility of wielding this weapon of our mind, this tool, with respect and the care that it deserves. Here we have cups. Now cups represent emotion. The corresponding element is water. Think about how water fills a cup, or a cup can contain water. Again, Ace through 10, and your court cards here, Page, Knight, King, Queen. This suit, you'll notice, is much less severe than the suit of swords. And that's because our emotions flow, right? Our emotions and feelings, they can be transmuted and they can be changed. And you'll notice some of the happiest cards in the deck in this suit. Like, for example, this 10, I'll see if I can bring it up closer to where you can see. It's a rainbow with a happy family. The children are dancing. It's got the 10 cups, the completion of the cycle of cups. So you'll notice a lot of happy imagery here in this suit. Alright, here we go with wands. So wands are the element of fire. And you'll see them, they're all wooden wands. Think about how wood can catch on fire, or can fuel a fire. Again, Ace through 10 and your court cards. What this represents for us is our creativity, our passion, and also our sex energy as well. Because creativity and sexual energy come from the same source. And that's what these cards talk about. You'll notice as you begin to work with tarot cards, you start to gain a personal attachment and a personal, your own personal symbolism with them. One that strikes me right here in this deck is the Queen of Wands. I'll bring this closer so hopefully you can see. The Queen of Wands has a black cat down here in it. And this card, actually, my partner and I used when we were doing a spell to manifest a cat that we found that was injured to come back so that we could help that cat. So that's just one example that comes to mind, and you'll make many of your own as you begin to bond with your deck and the imagery in it. Make those personal connections. It's going to mean more than anything you'll read out of a book or listen to on a YouTube video. This is all a jumping off point. Your intuition is what's going to guide you. And last, we'll take a look at the pentacles. Pentacles, you'll see, contain a pentagram. The pentagram is a 5-pointed star. Now, the pentacles are talking about the material world. The corresponding element here is earth. What the pentagram represents, pull this up so you can see it, you have 5 points on this star. Now the 5 points represent the elements: air, earth, water, and fire. And then that 5th element, what's that? Well, that's you, that's your will, that's your spirit. It's also called Akasha. When we combine these 5 points together, that's how we're able to manifest. With spellcraft, we work with the corresponding elements for what we want to manifest, and we combine them with our will. And that's how we can make things happen in the material world. So think about the material world when you think about this suit. Think about your money, yes, because these are coins, as you can see. But also think about anything that's materially around you. Your house, your car, your clothes, your objects, your things that you have. Physical, tangible things. And this suit, you'll see a lot of gray here in the background, very neutral color. And then in the court cards here, you'll also see yellow. You also see that in the 9 right here with the falconess. This is the color of personal power. You'll notice a lot of symbolism as you look at these cards, and we're just going to touch on it briefly here. But remember, Pentacles, Earth, that's talking about your material world. So I hope that was helpful to you. Now as you look at the tarot, we're going to dive into the cards individually. We're going to start with the major arcana. These videos are going to be shorter because we're looking at an individual card, but I think it's important to understand all the qualities that are in these cards. So we'll start off with the Fool next time, which is the first card of the major arcana. If you like this video, please remember to give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. So we're growing this channel, it's brand new, and it's hopefully going to help and reach a lot of people. That's the goal. So until next time, blessed be, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.